Hold on to your helmets, because this isn't just a story. It's a supernova of danger, desire, and destiny exploding across the stars. Imagine your Kade Storme, a battle-scarred mercenary standing in the grimy heart of the Void Bazaar, a black market station pulsing with neon shadows and the stench of sizzling circuits. In your grip, a Nova shard, a shimmering sliver of tech so powerful it cost you 2 crewmates' lives to snatch from a forbidden zone. Across the counter, a reptilian trader named Vex Tauren smirks, his scales glinting like a predator's teeth, dangling an offer you can't ignore, cold credits and a violet-skinned mystery with silver eyes that burn through your soul. Do you grab the deal and run? Or do you feel the hairs on your neck rise, whispering that this moment's about to hurl you into a hyperspace storm of love, betrayal, and quantum chaos? Don't blink. This ride's just igniting, and you won't believe where it lands. The Void Bazaar was a lawless sprawl of flickering signs and whispered deals, a cosmic pit where honor was a ghost and survival was king. Kade Storme stood like a monolith in his polished black combat armor, the Nova shard glowing faintly on the scratched metal counter before him. Its hum was a siren's call, a relic of quantum might he'd clawed from a restricted hellhole, leaving blood and echoes behind. Opposite him, Vex Tauren leaned in, his gray scales rippling with smug delight, multifaceted eyes catching the neon glare like fractured jewels. 50,000 credits, Kade growled, his voice a low rumble through his thick, dark beard. That's the floor. This shard's no trinket. You know what it can do. Vex's tongue flicked, a gravelly chuckle escaping. 30,000, my final word. His tone was a taunt, a dare wrapped in silk. Kade's hand flexed on his rifle, a reflex forged in a dozen firefights. I lost good men for this. It's not some back-alley knockoff. Patience, human, Vex purred, his scales shimmering with amusement. Let's make it interesting. He tapped a clawed finger on his console, and a side door hissed open, spilling dim light across a figure that stopped Kade's pulse cold. She was alien, breathtaking, violet skin glowing with a faint sheen, white hair cascading like a comet's tail, and silver eyes locking onto his with a force that felt like a tractor beam. Her sleek, form-fitting suit hugged every curve, a stark rebellion against the bazaar's decay. Top-tier Astra Veyl stock, Vex boasted, his voice dripping with pride. Plucked from the Zethar incursions, worth 20,000 alone. Take her, plus the 30. Kade's jaw tightened, a storm brewing behind his hazel eyes. I don't deal in flesh. Then call it a liberation, Vex sneered, leaning closer. Credits in your pocket, a noble deed on your soul. Everyone's happy. Her gaze didn't waver, not fear, not submission, but something sharper, like she was sizing him up. Kade's gut screamed trap, but those eyes, they pulled like gravity. Fine, he snapped, voice rough, but it's in writing. She's free the second the credits hit. Vex's grin split wider, a predator savoring the kill. Oh, absolutely. The deal closed in a blur of digital signatures and clinking credits. Kade led her, Zyra Veloris, she named herself, out of the bazaar's neon haze, her steps matching his with eerie precision. Her voice, smooth as starlight with a lilting alien edge, hit him like a shockwave. I'll stick with you for now. Kade's boots echoed on the docking ramp, but inside he felt the universe shift, a spark igniting a fire he couldn't yet see. A razor's edge of tension. Let's unpack this opener. It's a pressure cooker ready to blow. Kade's no saint. He's a survivor with scars and a rifle, but that flicker of conscience, it's the hook that reels you in. Picture yourself there, a glowing shard in one hand, a living enigma offered like a prize. I'd hesitate, too many red flags, but Kade's in too deep to back out. The Void Bazaar's a perfect dive. Think Cyberpunk 2077 vibes with a Star Wars cantina twist. And Zyra, those silver eyes scream game changer. I'm betting she's about to flip Kade's world and mine inside out. This isn't just a trade, it's the big bang of an epic, and I'm strapped in for the blast. Aboard the Shadow Talon. Shadows of trust. The Shadow Talon, Kade's Ravenstrike-class corvette, crouched in the docking bay like a predator ready to pounce, sleek, deadly, and his lone fortress in the void. Zyra's silver eyes traced its angular lines as they approached, her violet fingers brushing the hull with a whisper. "A marvel," she said, her voice a melody of awe. Ravenstrike at its fiercest. Kade cocked a brow, intrigued. "You know your ships?" "And then some," she replied, her smile a flicker of secrets. Inside, the Shadow Talon was a Spartan cathedral, military-grade tech woven into its dark frame, every inch pristine. Kade peeled off his armor, revealing a black flight suit that hugged his muscled build. "Settle in," he said, striding to the cockpit to punch in launch codes. He returned to find Zyra thumbing through his stash of paper books, rare earth relics he'd hoarded like gold. "These are treasures," she murmured, her tone soft with wonder as she turned a brittle page. "Folks think I'm mad for keeping them aboard." "Fools miss the point," she countered, placing the book back with reverence. "Stories are power." Kade leaned against the bulkhead, eyes narrowing. "You're not what you look like, are you?" She turned, her white hair catching the ship's soft glow. "Nor you. But yes, I'm not Vex's trophy." "Then what?" "A gamble." Purple energy sparked at her fingertips, a faint hum filling the air. "His security didn't glitch. I made it happen. I needed off that rock, and I needed you." "You played me," Kade said, a grin tugging at his lips despite himself. "I staged a collision," she corrected, her silver eyes twinkling. "And you rose to the occasion. This is where the sparks fly. Zyra's no captive. She's a maestro pulling strings. It's a trope I crave, like a spy revealing their cover mid-heist. Those books, a window into Kade's soul, he's got a soft spot under the steel. I'd toss in a beat here, Zyra tweaking the ship's shields with her powers, Kade watching, half suspicious, half mesmerized. It's trust's first ember, and it's about to blaze. The Shadow Talon sliced into hyperspace, stars streaking into luminous threads around them. Zyra's presence rewired Kade's solitary rhythm. She was no passenger. She was a storm. "I'm Zyra Veloris," she confessed one night, her voice steady. "Heir to the astral covenant of Astra Veyl, I picked you. Your name echoes as a man who doesn't bend." Kade blinked, reeling. "A princess? Why the charade?" "I needed a soul money can't buy," she said, stepping closer, her warmth brushing his skin. "Our energies synced the instant we met, a nova bond. It's rare, even for us." Purple light pulsed between them, their breaths aligning in a rhythm beyond physics. "This," she whispered, "is what we are." Days melted into a tangle of closeness, her fingers brushing his in tight corridors, her powers tuning the Shadow Talon's hum. One evening, she rested a hand on her abdomen. "I'm carrying your child. Our bond. It's potent." Kade's heart thudded. "A kid? With me?" "A star-born prince," she smiled, silver eyes glowing. "The first of his kind. The Nova Bond is sci-fi dynamite. Passion meets quantum theory. It's wild, merging romance with the laws of the universe. I'd juice it up. Maybe they're Bond shorts out the cockpit lights, forcing a laugh amid the chaos. Ever had a connection that flips your world? I met a writer once who sparked my wildest ideas in a day. Same vibe. Zyra's pregnancy? Instant stakes. It's a warp speed escalation and I'm here for it. Mid-flight, alarms screamed. 3 ships shadowed them through hyperspace. "Impossible," Zyra muttered, her silver eyes scanning the readouts. "Unless..." "Mercs?" Kade guessed, hands on the controls. After you? Probably, she nodded, a predator's grin flashing. Let's make them regret it. In the engine room, her pregnant form shimmered with purple energy, syncing with the Shadow Talon's core. We'll weave a Nova echo, trick them into chasing a ghost. Kade poured his own will into their bond, amplifying her. A violet wave erupted, knocking the pursuer's ships dark. Nailed 'em, he crowed, steadying her as she swayed. Our little prince loved that, she laughed, guiding his hand to feel the faint pulse in her belly. This is where their bond turns lethal. Love as a weapon is pure genius. I'd tweak it. One ship fights back, sparking a chase where Kade's piloting dazzles. Think Guardians of the Galaxy with a twist. Personal tie-in, I once synced with a teammate to crush a deadline. It's that rush of, we've got this. Kade and Zyra are unstoppable, and it's a thrill ride. Astral Covenant ships dropped in next, their leader, General Raxon, glaring through the comms. Princess Zyra, you're bound, she snapped, purple energy flaring between her and Kade. And with child, lower your weapons! Raxon's crew staggered. Some hit the deck. A human hybrid? He choked out. Deal with the mercs first, Kade cut in, voice firm. Then we negotiate. Raxon bristled but complied, shadowing them at a distance. Alone, Zyra teased. My consort? More like your troublemaker, Kade shot back, pulling her into a grin-fueled kiss. The Covenant's shock is a riot, royalty crashing into reality. I'd add a rogue guard saluting their bond, hinting at a revolution. Ever defied the norm? I ditched a safe gig to chase stories. Same rebel spirit. Kade and Zyra are rewriting the galaxy, and it's a blast. The captured mercs spilled a bombshell. Astral nobles hired them, desperate to stop a tainted heir. They tracked you, Kade said, eyes narrowing. This was planned. Let them come, Zyra snarled, purple sparks dancing at her fingers. They'll learn who they're messing with. Their Nova bond hummed, a shield of defiance. We're in this together, Kade said. They don't stand a chance. The betrayal's a gut punch. I'd ramp it up with a noble saboteur aboard, caught mid-plot. Real-world echo? I've faced backstabbers. It toughens you. Kade and Zyra turn fear into fury, and it's a lesson in grit. I'm hooked. 9 months later, Kade stood in Astra Veyl's grand hall, his consort armor gleaming under crystalline light. Their son, Orion, burst into existence in a violet flash, pale purple skin, silver hazel eyes, a Nova-born marvel. The Covenant, once scornful, knelt to their power. The Nova shard, now a lover's token, pulsed with their entwined energy. You kept it, Zyra laughed, cradling Orion. Best risk I ever took, Kade said, kissing her fierce and true. Their saga, from a shady trade to a cosmic dynasty, promised wilder horizons. Love you, he sent through their bond. Damn right, she smirked back. Best chaos I ever bought. This finale's a firework, deal to dynasty in a blaze of glory. Takeaways? Choices ripple, Kade's gamble reshaped stars. Unity is might, together they're a force. Love defies all, species, rules, physics. I've felt it. A partner who sparks your best self changes everything. Find your Zyra, your Nova match. The galaxy's waiting.